Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I am joined by some very special guests. Of course I'm here with the boys from the band Musical! If you'd each like to introduce yourselves, say hello to YouTube. Everybody would like to know something about you, so if you just give a little line, who you are and what you're doing here.
What are you doing here?
My name's Harry, in the band. Interesting fact, my middle name is Fabulous. So
It actually is.
yeah, genuinely on the passport and everything. So.
Love that.
I'm Curtis, I'm in the band as well, and I'm hobbit-sized, and I'd love to do a lot of other into musical if anyone's watching.
I love that.
Hi, I'm Sario. I play one of the boys in the band, and just before this, I was a part-time tree surgeon.
Ooh.
Hello, I'm Yazdan. I'm also one of the boys in the band. There's not really much interesting about me, but my middle name is not Fabulous.
We are here in the West End. How does it feel to finally be here at the Haymarket Theatre?
I think it's a combination of a lot of hard work,
Yeah.
and we're happy to be here at the pinnacle of many actors' aspirations in terms of English theatre.
Yeah.
So it's a big honour to be here, and it's an honour to share the stage with these lads.
Oh, that's so good. If you were to look back from the show, from when it started to now, what are the differences? How do you feel in your roles?
I mean, for us, you know, we had we have such a unique relationship in the fact that we came from a TV show, and that involved it was almost like training before we even started training. We had to learn how to adapt very quickly and deal with like pressure in situations, and obviously it's massively helpful when you have like one of the biggest boy bands who can pass on experience of what they've learned. And you know, literally the day after we won the show, Gary, Howard and Mark sat us down in a room and says, look, we've been through a lot of stuff, so here's a bit of advice. I'm not going to tell you what that is because that's between us.
Absolutely.
And, you know, they passed on some really useful stuff that we probably still use now, and we meet a lot of fans, and it's just become this massive roller coaster of a journey that has not yet stopped, because now we're at the West End, all the way from touring, you know, for a year and a half and doing 400 shows and all these crazy things.
Yeah, so obviously this week was a huge week for you all. You had the gala with the boys, obviously they joined you on stage. You had Elton John's gala night, which was absolutely incredible. Now, have you ever kind of done that before? Is that completely new to you?
No, it was very weird turning up on the gala night because they ripped up all the stall seats and in place of that there were tables with very posh cutlery, posh glasses, and when we get given the 5 just before the show starts, there's an auction happening behind the screen. Oh wow. Which sort of blocks us. So it was a very different experience, but amazing. We raised just under £1 million, I think.
Wow.
The Elton John Aid Foundation. That's amazing.
Incredible. That really is amazing. Now, obviously doing things like that is incredible. You then had your press night, you've had such a huge week and the response has been amazing. For you guys, obviously there's a lot of pressure because you're young guys, you're basically taking on the role of one of the most iconic boy bands in the world. Is there anything that in particular that you were worried about before kind of taking on this role, you know, this big, you know, have such a huge reputation? What was it like taking that on board and moving forward with it? Did you kind of take inspiration from particular members, or were you very much about, I'm going to be myself, I'm going to rock this?
It's always worrying, I think, when you've got to take that watching the show and stuff. There's always that pressure there. I met them in rehearsals and stuff. It was kind of weird, but I think that they make you feel at ease, and you can just be yourself in the show. You don't have to try and emulate what they do. You don't have to try and copy them. They're just kind of yourself in the band, and that's what they love it. So.
Yeah, of course you've got some great moves as well, like obviously I've seen the show twice now, and there's some really iconic dance moves in there, but are there any that you've got a kind of a favourite of yours, you know?
Dance moves?
Yeah.
Yeah, my favourite dance moves are Patience and Love Songs.
Brilliant.
It's a joke because there's no dance music.
I see, okay, right.
That is the joke.
Both beautiful songs, by the way, so I think my mum even said that Pray is one of her favourite too, so obviously that's really good fun. You've got the iconic Never Forget as well. I think the one that really tickles me and makes me laugh is the Flood. Obviously, you've got these, like in the video, the boys obviously have the big flailing kind of capes. It's that one, isn't it? Where the big water comes in, all the confetti fires.
They can sometimes be a nightmare climbing back the stairs. Sometimes they're a bit too long, and then when the wind machine gusts it up, you kind of step on it, and then you kind of try not to fall onto the stairs, and then you knock the mics over, and that ruins the next scene.
Well, it looks from an audience perspective, it looks so slick and so professional, so you don't notice that at all.
It took 400 shows.
I love that. It's just such a brilliant moment in the show. You get goosebumps because it's obviously all the wind machines are going. You feel like it feels like an arena, like you're in a Haymarket.
That's good, 'cause that's
you
exactly
literally, do you know what I mean? You're supposed to feel
Yeah.
like you're at a concert, and the best part about it is just having the best time. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the kind of crowd where you can whoop, you can cheer, from the very get-go of the musical, you can clap along. You know what I mean? Not many musicals you can do that, because obviously they sing the songs, they do their acting, but with this show, because it's take that, and obviously it's very concert orientated, which is amazing, with an incredible story, you get to dance and you get to sing along as well, which I think is great for fans.
It doesn't take itself too seriously.
Yeah.
The play doesn't, and we don't, and I think if people want to have a good time, they can have a good time. I'm cool.
And if they don't want to have a good time,
they can leave. I'm kidding.
But I was just going to say, actually, because obviously the musical is heavily about being a fan and being proud to be a fan. If we'll go along the line, actually, if you could tell us who you're a fan of and why, so who's inspired you in life?
But we can't say take that, can we? Let's say something.
Yet say not take that.
Other than take that. I mean, obviously take that or your number ones, completely. But if there are any other singers or performers out there that you're really like, oh my goodness, they inspire me so much.
There's a guy called Lewis Capaldi.
I've got something to tell you about.
And he's amazing, and I listened to him the whole summer. Went to go see him live recently.
Oh, awesome.
On one of my days off, and he's just incredible. His voice has got so much depth to it. I love him, and his songwriting's amazing, and it just inspires a few of us.
Yeah, also he's quite young as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's only
supported
20 something.
Sam Smith on tour, I think, as well.
Yeah,
Which
he's
is so
super
cool.
talented,
Yeah, awesome.
Inspiring, definitely Brandon Flowers. I think he's a brilliant songwriter, and he's done songs with so many different artists. I think he's a real showman. But I also like Harry Styles, because I just think that he's bubbly and got a really good personality and such stage presence when he's performing live. And again, great songs.
Yeah.
I have a wide array in music tastes, from the Ramones to current day rappers, but I've always loved the 80s, a massive influence on my fashion. One group I loved was called King, and the lead singer, Paul King, I actually went to see him do a talk. He's now head of MTV or something.
Wow.
And his song Love and Pride, and with the DMs and the crazy clothes, got me influenced actually into that sort of clothing, and I love the song.
That's
so I would say
awesome.
Paul King.
I love
I've never
that.
heard of that band.
I'll play you the song. You'll know the song.
Cultured than me.
No.
I'd say for me, Justin Timberlake is a big inspiration of mine. I think he taught me how to be sexy. He taught me how to move, and watching him grow. I think do it. No, I
That's
genuinely.
like for it, Justin Timberlake.
I think you've got to do an iconic move as well. If you're going to post on Instagram, it's got to be.
Yeah. It's just the way he sings and the way he is just so confident in himself. I think he was I idolised him growing up, and he made me believe that I could do that too.
Yeah. So, kind of going along the lines of being a fan, obviously, I think everybody has their fan favourites when it comes to songs. Now, obviously, you perform so many Take That songs in the show, but do you each have a favourite? And if so, what is it?
Patience gets me there. I love Patience.
Yeah.
I love Said It All or The Flood. Like the way we use those songs in the story of the musical is really effective and really emotive.
Yeah, I always say Said It All, because I think Yazdan sings it beautifully, but see, you hear his ego's getting bigger,
And I
so I'm
always
going to
say,
change it.
No, don't.
Okay.
And I always say Flood because Sario sings it. Very
Oh,
well.
this guy.
I love that.
Yeah.
Another thing I was going to say as well, out of all of the members of Take That, who are you most like and why?
I mean, people have said Mark to me.
Okay.
So, I loved Mark as a kid as well. So.
Yeah.
I think people use the obvious comparison with Gary because I like to write music and because I can't dance.
Is the accent too, by any chance?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know how to best answer that question, but I don't know. Like, I think. Sorry to like answer for everyone.
No, go on.
Carry on. I think that the qualities of the boys are actually quite equally spread up throughout us five. As in, like, there's a lot of cheeky elements to each individual member, and there's a lot of kind of more sophisticated elements to do with what kind of music we like and how we perform that can be compared to Gary, and then obviously like Robbie and the way he, like even you when you're doing the flood and you're giving like the big presentation, that's very Robbie like, you know, but then you turn into Mark when we do Let It Shine, so it's great.
Yeah,
bits
Let It
of
Shine.
Let It Shine. Yeah, Let It Shine. This is the song Shine. Let It Shine. Okay. I've only been doing it 2 years.
There's so many like incredible words and lyrics in their songs, but also in the show itself. If you could pick a favourite line, I know this is a bit hard, man, putting you on the spot. What would you say is your kind of favourite line or lyric from the musical, and why?
There's a repeated line in the show from the song called The Garden, which is, "This is the life we've been given, so open your mind and start living."
My favourite is all of the miles of words were spoken, all the lines that got away, did we take the time to say them all. That's beautiful.
I don't think I have a specific line, but Shine is such a jolly song.
Just the word.
Just the word Shine sums up the musical, I think.
Brilliant.
Very poignant.
Oh,
Babe, I'm here again.
Great.
I think said it all when you I think the lyrics are really beautiful, and I think that if you've I mean, I'm not exactly sure what the song's about, but when I sing it and I really think about what the lines mean, I think it's incredibly sad. I guess you could say that it's about maybe a relationship that's fallen apart. You've tried to fix things, but you've said all the words that you can, and it still isn't enough. And I think maybe we've all maybe been in that situation. So yeah, it really gets me.
Yeah. Well, that's it for my questions, but I'm actually going to take it now to the fan questions. So now we turn to Twitter. I recently asked your fans what they'd like to ask you, so there's a variety of questions here, and I'm very excited, and they're certainly very excited too. The first one is from Ruth Proughton1, and she says, what is your fave theatre you've been on tour, and why?
There's been some amazing theatres. Well, firstly, this one, the Haymarket, is amazing to be at. West End, of course. I remember being in Cardiff at the Millennium Centre, and that was incredible. It was nice. It was a nice modern theatre, huge. That sticks out for me. The Liverpool Empire as well.
Every theatre, every single theatre we've been to.
But those are a few that come to mind straight away.
My favourite was Leeds because it's my home. It's an amazing theatre. We had some really like raucous audiences every night, and it was just a great time.
Love that.
So what's raucous?
Raucous mean?
Like, it's like
raucous.
Yeah, whatever you want to say.
That's brilliant. Haymarket's great. It's a beautiful theatre. I live in London, so that's my home local theatre. I do. Sorry. And Millennium was great as well in Cardiff because I used to love Torchwood. So
Used to.
For me, Newcastle, because that was the closest to my home, and I had loads of my like people from my life growing up. So like teachers, dentists, everyone came.
You're a friend with your dentist?
No, but they just came, and I was like, oh, my mum was like, oh, your dentist is coming tonight. I was like,
fair enough.
How do you know? So no, they didn't. But no, Newcastle for me.
Amazing. Oh, I love that. So the next question comes from Kelly Barlow, 98. What were your first?
I had a sister.
I love that. They were all about their faves. So what were your first impressions on each other, and have they changed or stayed the same?
Hate, double hate. Loathing time. It's a quote from the Grinch, it's a joke.
Yes.
Before anyone writes that.
I think, well, one of the reasons why we won Let It Shine was that we got on so well so quickly, and I think that's what the audience saw, so that was one of the reasons why we did so well in the TV show, I think. So yeah, I got along personally well with everyone.
My first impressions of Saz were quite funny. Saz is an incredibly charismatic, funny man. And he was from the beginning, but I remember him being like, we were sat in the waiting rooms before doing our first auditions for Let It Shine, and Sario was there like, oh, nice to meet you by the way, because I'm going home after this, I'm not even going to get through. Aww. And I was like, dude, don't say that, I'm sure you're amazing, and obviously...
I still think I am.
But we're trying to instill it.
I actually prefer out of everyone Harry because he's the most non-offensive person you'll ever meet, and there's nothing that will depress him, which I envy massively.
That's true.
Nothing, you know, anything can happen in his day. He loses a about phone and he'd find a positive. Well, at least I don't have to like be bothered by social media.
Yeah, it's true. That actually is true.
Very true.
Yeah.
So the next question comes from Alison Pashley, and she says, what's the funniest thing that's happened to you on stage and that wasn't meant to happen, and who is likely to start laughing when they shouldn't?
Oh, Curtis laughs, actually. We're all pretty bad, aren't we?
I just point and laugh when stuff goes wrong, so I don't know what to do.
To be fair, I think both times that I've seen it, even there's moments that like the audience want to giggle anyway. Like it's that kind of like joyous show where you're like, I really want to giggle. Do I giggle now? Do I laugh now? And then you go and just let it go really because it's great. But yeah, it's just that kind of show, I think, where you can get away with that.
We had a funny moment last night, actually, didn't we?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Go on, Haz. Go on, Haz.
So there's quite a poignant moment at the end of the show where we sing "Rule the World" and we're revealed
by sliders
and under the top part of the stage.
Yeah.
And we stood there, ready, waiting to sing. But there was like a little glitch in the system. I don't know what happened, but they weren't opening.
Oh, right.
So we panicked, and I ran away to go to the side of the stage, to come up on the side of the stage, and the other boys just kind of stayed there, and then they opened, and they were stood there, and I had to walk to the side of the stage.
Oh. See, that's a true showman, though.
Yeah.
As a true showman, you thought on your
sure.
feet, which means that, you know, whatever happens, you know exactly what you're doing. You know the show so well that you know to go, right, now I need to think this way and make it perfect.
Did you act really confident?
I was so confident.
I didn't notice until I saw him walk in. I was like,
me too.
I mean, the audience would have thought I was doing it. It was embarrassing.
Oh, well, I'm
it's
sure
okay, you ruined the show.
Everybody loves the show.
It's not a normal occurrence. It's not a normal occurrence.
But love a good bit of banter. So the next question comes from Emma, who is Kiss Alice on Twitter. She says, when the musical comes to an end, what's one thing you will cherish from the experience?
All the things I'm going to steal. Just little mementos from the set. I'm confessing to it now. There's a few things that like really lovely memories that I will be taking with me.
He's not joking. He does steal things.
Yeah. There's the moments where we perform and take that on stage are amazing moments.
Yeah.
To remember forever. And also West End is amazing.
Yeah, the opening night's definitely there. Like it's just the way the kind of audiences we get and the way they like fully enjoy our concert scenes. That's like a memory. It feels like we've been on tour, like in stadiums in some respects. That's definitely a memory I shall cherish.
For me, I guess no, you.
No,
I insist.
Let's skip them both.
Yeah. No, I would just say, and not just the friendship with these guys, but the rest of the cast. Stage manager, I made a lot of friends.
When you finish a tour or a show or anything, you are never ever going to do it again with the same people in the same way that we are now. And I think when that hits me, the fact that in the last show, when I sing this song, I'm never going to do it in this situation ever again.
Yeah.
That's okay, but also quite sad.
Because we've done it for so long as well.
Definitely. Well, it's definitely a reason for people to come and see it at Haymarket, because obviously you've got a limited run as well. So things like that, you know, people really need to come and experience it, because it's not like, it is kind of like being at a Take That concert, but the story behind it is not what you expect at all. Because obviously it follows the girl's story as well. It does really follow the story of a Take That fan or a boy band fan. And I think the most relatable part of the show is being a fangirl and being able to be a fan of somebody, and it really prides itself on that. And I think that's really lovely. I think everybody can relate to it because everybody is a fan of someone. And I think that is the thing that stuck out to me the most when I saw it the first time, and made me quite emotional, because it was like, this is really showing you how much you can still love a band and that music is timeless. You know, you can go so many years down the line and you'll still absolutely love it. But yeah, no, I think it's that's one of the best things about it, and I think it's really great to see the fans' response as well. Talk about fans, let's move on to the next question, which comes from Eleanor, at Dizzy Eleanor on Twitter. What have you enjoyed the most about being in the band musical, and why?
Enjoyed the most about being in the band musical?
So many things.
Obviously not much from our reaction.
I'm thinking there's nothing specific. It's just been a great experience.
The whole thing is amazing, overall.
Yeah, we're so heightened in the fact that we are spoiled by amazing happenings. We take that and Robbie come in these press nights that it's actually quite difficult to choose what we enjoy, because you could generalise and say we enjoy it all because it's so amazing.
Yeah.
A blank reaction wasn't, oh, it's not fun.
It was deep thought.
Yeah.
So the next question kind of follows on quite nicely from that. Is from Lucy Hardman, Dawn Harper and Jane Hearn. They asked very similar questions, so I kind of grouped them together. And they said, what do you plan to do when the band musical finishes its run in March? Yeah.
Basically, at the moment, there's options for everything, because some of the boys want to do musical theatre and some of the boys might want to go into music, and we kind of are very conscious of each other's lives, that we want everyone to do what they want to do. So we're thinking very hard at the moment what the future is, and again at the moment we have to focus on the show because it is kind of, you know, it is a full-time job. It takes up a lot of 9 shows a week and the press and whatnot, so that will be decided when we get closer to the time.
Great. So talking about other musicals, Susan Egar1 on Twitter asks, what other musical on the West End currently would you like to be a part of and why?
Hamilton. Definitely.
Yeah.
For me, it's not on the West End currently, but my favourite musical was 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. That was at the Donmar a while back.
Yeah,
That was
what?
amazing.
There's talk about that.
It's an amazing musical.
That's
You'll
so
love that.
cool.
Or Xanadu, but that's always off.
Okay.
But no,
Yeah.
Spelling Bee is a great one.
It does sound great.
It's incredible.
These things, crazy.
I don't know specifically.
What's a musical?
It could be a tour. If you want to say kind of if there's anything you've seen previously in the West End.
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, stuff like Jamie, new musicals like that, made great shows. Stuff like that, really. New musicals are really exciting. So.
The next question comes from Sarah, and SFERRE85. I'm gonna spell it out because I can't actually say that, but it's from Sarah. Has this experience lived up to what you imagined it to when you first auditioned?
I think it's been a lot tougher than we imagined, mentally, physically, but we've stepped up to the plate, and I think when something like that is asked of you, your body, you just do it, and you don't really stop to think. I think when we finish in March, it might hit us a little bit. But yeah, we haven't stopped yet, so
it's pretty non-stop, so we haven't had time to really think at all. I don't really think in the future. During Let It Shine, I just did it, and then next day we went straight into the TV advert. Would take that. You don't think, oh, we're going to do that. It just happened because it was the next day. Yeah. So we haven't actually had the time to think, oh, it's going to be press night, because like a second later, it is press night.
Yeah. The next question comes from Becky Punchon on Twitter, and she said, if you were actually following what we've just been talking about, if you could relive one moment, whether that be in tour or the West End so far, as a group together, what would it be?
Robbie's face when he was watching us the other night.
Aww.
That was really cool.
He was angry. He was angry. He wasn't happy.
For me, I'd love to relive the very first time we opened in Manchester and the screen came down and we saw the audience. That's pretty special.
That was so scary.
For me, it would be the same, but I'd like to relive it because it was so scary.
Yeah.
I couldn't enjoy it. You just did it. But if I could go back now, I would sort of appreciate the whole.
Same for me with my first show. Yeah, just be able to just do it again and just breathe and enjoy it.
Yeah, a show you will never forget, right?
I see what you did.
Sorry, just got to be done.
Can't
help the puns. So the final question, and this is quite a topical one because obviously we are at the Theatre Royal Haymarket during a very festive season, and it comes from Rick's Quiff, and it is.
Oh, I know that.
What are you hoping to find in your Christmas stockings this year?
Santa baby. Just some family time.
Yeah.
Sometime at home.
In the big
Oh, Dad's mum!
He's on it. You see like in Harry Potter where it's like your arm goes all the way down. Yeah.
I just love that actually. I really like that image of you pulling these out there.
So funny.
It's just
Oh, your family around me.
Yeah. Save me for later.
Yeah, for me, probably copious amounts of Grey Goose.
Oh yes.
Lovely jubbly.
I'd like to reach into the biggest bottle of red wine.
Oh my God! Why are we all alcoholics?
No, it's Christmas, it's fine.
Christmas,
It's
it's
good time.
You can drink.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
We don't celebrate Christmas.
I'm Harry Potter, so I'd be happy to just get anything in the
Yeah,
Oh, love that. Well, it's been so lovely talking to you guys. So you're here through to the 12th of January of next year and going through to the 16th of March, so be sure to go and get your tickets, people. You cannot miss the band. It's something really special. Take your mum, take your dad, take your gran, take your nan, take everybody, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you very much.